What's up, guys? It's Lemar and LJ, and this is What the Hell Are You Talking About for what, the third week now? We got a little, this is getting it's a little clunky, but we starting to work the bugs out. This is the third week.
It's
oh,
the
is
fourth week, man.
It's the fourth week. Oh,
week.
man.
A month already, man.
Yeah, it's the fourth week. Okay. So, what the hell are we talking about today? We're gonna.
I think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
We're gonna start with the Cleveland. We're gonna start with the draft overall, but in particularly, they're talking Cleveland Browns may draft two quarterbacks with their first and their fourth pick, just because they're scared that they're gonna get it wrong like they always do. But it appears like they may get it wrong again.
If they draft two quarterbacks, they are definitely getting it wrong. I think that's a smokescreen, to be honest. The more I hear about this draft, the more I don't want these quarterbacks, because I'm listening to radio guys all week long, and all they're talking about is, oh, you're not going to find the Andrew Luck in this draft. You're not going to find the Peyton Manning. You're not going to find Joe Namath. You're not going to find. Okay, why should I draft a quarterback if I'm not going to find a great one?
Right.
Why would I do that? Like, I know that a Brady only comes along where you find him in the sixth round every generation. Maybe he's the only one you ever did find that late in the draft. But to say that all these quarterbacks aren't really going to do anything, so why should I draft them?
Right.
I want someone who's going to change my. I want somebody who's going to change.
Your franchise.
My franchise around.
Fortune, right. Well, I mean, from what I hear Darnold is that guy that's going to do it. I mean, I know you don't have any faith in USC quarterbacks, but they say Darnold is that guy. They say he worked out well and everything works out with him. But, I mean, you really don't know until they get on the field. But now I'm hearing all this momentum about Josh Rosen that he has no flaws on the field. Now, people don't like him because his political views and the way he likes to talk, and they say he's too smart for his own good. But I'm like, I don't believe in being too smart as a quarterback. Like, if you're smart, you're smart. Now, he may be a certain type of personality to deal with, but they're saying you got to tap into his mental capacity or something like that. I'm like, all right, fine, but I think, I mean, what I'm hearing is Darnold, Rosen, and then everybody else. Now, what I'm hearing is Cleveland may take Josh Allen with the first pick. That's what everybody's saying. Like, the consensus is Josh Allen, and then they're gonna draft another quarterback at the fourth spot. I guess whoever's there. Now I'm hearing that the Giants, if Darnold is not drafted first, then I hear the Giants are going to take Darnold because he's too good of a prospect to pass up. Even though they're not looking for a quarterback, they said the only quarterback they would take. Well, they said the only quarterback they would take is Darnold in this class. Is what I'm hearing. They won't. If they'll pass on anybody else, but if Darnold falls to them, they'll take him.
That's not what I've heard. Actually, Rosen actually fell. Everyone's either saying Sam Darnold. Everyone's either saying Darnold or Josh Allen. I'm not hearing anything about Rosen like I was months ago. But with the Giants, they're being really coy. I think it's Gettleman. He did the same thing when he was with Carolina. He's being real coy about who he wants to pick. First, he's saying, "Oh, we're going to pick Josh Allen," and months ago, and then that made Cleveland want to pick Josh Allen the first pick, but they thought that was a smokescreen. It's like, "Oh, we're going to pick Saquon Barkley, number one, the running back from Penn State." So now they're like, why would you pick a running back with the number one pick in the draft?
Yeah.
No one's done that in a very long time.
Yeah, I don't know.
And especially not in this league. That would make no sense.
Especially since they're saying that this is, one, it's a running back heavy draft. Two, they're saying they don't think Saquon Barkley is an every down back. They think he's a dynamic back, but they don't think he's an every down 20, 25 carries a game back. So, I don't know.
Well, there aren't any of those in the league. Not even what's his face, Treasure Troll from Dallas. He's not even the every down back. They can make running backs into every down backs if they wanted, but it's just not the way the league is set up anymore. They just don't do that. That's why Adrian Peterson. He's a last of a dying breed.
Yeah.
So he's not. They're not gonna. They're not gonna have
And
anybody.
he's not every down back anymore. So
Yeah, that's it. He's not even in the league anymore.
yeah.
So he might as well just retire in peace and just go on with his career. As a Cleveland fan, if they pick two quarterbacks, that would be the absolute worst thing you could possibly do for any young quarterback. Who's going to get the snaps? Who is going to play the number one? If you're going to have a quarterback competition right out the box for two young quarterbacks, you will ruin their careers. You will ruin your franchise.
Um, I go back and forth with it. Like I look at Cleveland as a team, they definitely have low self esteem to do this move, but I personally don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I think you can look in camp, see which one you like the most, start that one, and then let the other one sit, and then or just trade them and see what you can get for them. Before the season's out or after the first season, whatever, however you want to do it. They have sucked at drafting quarterbacks, so that might for that in particular team might just be the best thing. You do a camp competition, see which one you like the most, and roll with that one, and then like it's Cleveland, like you almost expect them to mess it up no matter how they do it, so you might as well better your chances by drafting two quarterbacks. I don't know. I'm not gonna go too hard against them on this. Like I disagree with it at first, but the more I think about it, I'm like, you know what? Do whatever you got to do, Cleveland, because y'all are terrible anyway.
Well, that's not going to make anything any better. Like you have to, that's the thing. Like you have to pick one. Someone's going to get all the reps, so you're not going to see the other one. You know what I mean? You're not really going to see what this other guy is going to be able to do, and especially if he's with the second squad. You have to look at them in the draft. You got to pick a guy, and that's it. Like just in your second pick out of the top five, your number 4 pick shouldn't be another quarterback. If you pick one, the first one, it should be another need that you have. You picked up a quarterback. That's the guy you're gonna run with. If he sucks, he sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like if he's not that good, he's not that good. But then you could pass up on somebody who's like a Hall of Famer at number 4 because you picked up another quarterback who's not really that good. It could turn into this draft could turn into a 2002 NFL draft. Where you have a David Carr at number 1 and a fucking Joey Harrington at number 3. So either way, you're fucking yourself.
Well, you're not if one of those does hit. I mean, because in the end, if you don't have a quarterback, you're gonna suck anyway. So it's worth the risk to at least say, all right, well it's better our odds.
You can't just keep saying I'm gonna keep drafting quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna draft a quarterback every single year. That's not gonna work. You know what I mean? Like you have to go along with one person and kind of let the guy go. You know what I mean? Like some quarterbacks aren't going to be great out the box either. You're not going to get a guy who's going to be great out the box. Some guys are going to show signs, but you gotta be able to mold that person and spend a lot of time with them. Having two of them, you're not really spending a lot of time with two quarterbacks. You have to. One has to be the starter, and the other has to know their role as the backup. You know what I'm saying? You can do that with a veteran and a younger guy, where a veteran coach. Well, the veteran's not really going to coach the younger guy because he's going to take his spot.
Speaking of veteran, remember they got Tyrod Taylor sitting there.
Tyrod Taylor's going to start this year. He's going to start either the first couple games or
whatever. Right?
He's not
first 6 games or so.
He's not a veteran. He's only been in the league for like 2-3 years. You know what I'm saying? He's young.
Nah, he's been in the league at least 4 or 5 now, right?
I don't remember.
I would say at least 4. Because he was battling with the other quarterback they had. They had 2 black quarterbacks. I can't remember what the other guy's name was. And they was going back and forth between the two. And that was at least 3 years ago.
Well, Buffalo, I don't pay attention to Buffalo.
Well,
so
nobody does, but but I mean, I don't know. I mean, because by mid. Put it like this: by mid.
He's a Super Bowl champion.
Who?
Tyrod Taylor.
Well, what team?
Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
didn't. I didn't know that.
okay. I didn't know that either. Okay, I thought Buffalo drafted him and he was there the whole time. Oh well. But either way, he's as far as Cleveland with the draft, I don't know. I mean, somehow you just feel like they're gonna screw this up either way. So,
Well, that's the thing. You're not going to screw up every single time. You know what I'm saying? Like once in a while, you're gonna get it right. You know what
I
I'm
think
saying?
you're
Like,
underestimating the power of Cleveland, the
well,
power of their screw ups.
well, like this. Well, this draft is not really one that you would. Right now they're grading all the quarterbacks on a curve. They're saying, oh, what's his face from USC? They say he's the best out of those quarterbacks, so they give him an A. But out of any other draft, he'll get like a B minus or something like that. So if they want to compare him, they would have to compare it to like I'm not going to say this guy sucks, but like a Matt Ryan. So I mean, he was an MVP 2 years ago, so it's not really that bad thing, but not really that bad of a comparison. But do you really think that Matt Ryan's the MVP is like an elite quarterback in this league?
No, he's
Does
not.
he seem like that to you?
He's not an elite quarterback. You can win the championship with him, but he's not an elite quarterback. I mean, there's a few quarterbacks that you can win with, even though they're not elite. I mean, everybody's not gonna have an elite. So,
But he's been MVP, and Drew Brees has never been MVP. You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing. I didn't realize that Drew Brees never been MVP.
You know what I'm saying? He won Offensive Player of the Year, but Drew Brees never won it, and this guy's won it. Do you think that in the end of the day, his career? Well, you got to look at Drew Brees' numbers. Drew Brees' numbers going to be out of this world by the time his career is over. But if you look at accomplishments, if this guy were to win that Super Bowl, he'd have an MVP in the Super Bowl. And Drew Brees has one Super Bowl, no MVPs. So they'll always say that Matt Ryan's better than him, and we both know that.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I think everybody. I mean, I don't think that's ever gonna be like now, because Matt Ryan's never gonna be. Once Matt Ryan retires, we're never gonna talk about Matt Ryan ever again. like if you show a list of MVPs, he'll be on it, but nobody's gonna even talk about him. Nobody's gonna pay attention to him being on that list. Drew Brees will be talked about more so when his career is over than Matt Ryan for sure. No, like the second Matt Ryan retires is the second we'll stop talking about Matt Ryan. Like he's not nobody really cares about Matt Ryan. He's a good quarterback. He's a
good quarterback. It was kind of like Rich Gannon. Rich Gannon won MVP late on in his career. No one talks about Rich Gannon.
There you go. Yeah, like nobody even remembers that he won. Probably like I barely remember. I mean, I remember the season he had, but I did kind of forget that he was MVP. So that's not even gonna issue. All right, moving on. The playoff matchup so far. Cleveland is tied with Indy at 1-1, but I don't think Cleveland has looked that good yet. I think Indiana looks like the better team so far. They played 2 in Cleveland. Cleveland has struggled. Cleveland got blown out in the first game. They struggled in this one. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that LeBron may lose in the first round this year.
I don't think. I really don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that LeBron is going to lose in the first round. The minute he loses in the first round, he's going to be like our age. You know what I'm saying? Like he's 33 now, and this dude just keeps getting better. Well, not getting better, but he's just not losing anything.
Well, numbers wise, he actually is looking pretty good overall. But if you watch them, they don't look good, dude. Like they came out firing like they should at a home game, but they only end up winning by 3. Like at home in a game that they needed to win, they only won by 3. They don't look good, and now they're going back to Indiana. Indiana did what they had to do. They won one, and they won one convincingly, and almost stole a second one. So I'm not that convinced right now. Like Cleveland, they got to show me something in game 3. But Now the other ones, San Antonio, they're doing what we expect them to do. Lose, they're gonna get swept. They're down 3-0. um,
Let's talk about Kawhi Leonard, shall we?
sure, why not? He's currently on the trading block.
Yeah, yes, Kawhi Leonard, who is injured, but hasn't joined the team. Hasn't sat on the bench, hasn't shown support for his teammates, and he's supposed to be the leader of that team. All right, have you ever seen Tim Duncan do anything like that?
No.
No.
But what I can say is though, they haven't shown much support for him. So why should he show support for them?
That's his team. You know, that's pretty much his team. They want him to play, and he's not really acting like part of the team, like part of, like, you know what I'm saying, like you like everyone gets injured. All the guys who've been on that team have been injured at some point. But I really don't see any type of leadership when your guys are fighting, and you're not there. Even if you're hurt, you know, sit on the bench with them. You're not even traveling with the team. So,
well, supposedly he's in New York getting worked on by his doctors. Supposedly, that's what it is. They say he's in New York and he's getting rehab.
Yeah, well, if LeBron were to do something like that, would he be crucified or what?
Absolutely, he would be crucified.
And why does Kawhi get a pass?
Well, because he's not the megastar that LeBron is, and
he's supposed to be a leader.
He's quiet. Well, yeah, but at the same time, he's just their best player. I don't even look at him as a leader. I think he's just their best player. Like he's not a guy. He's quiet. He doesn't talk. He doesn't lead by. He just leads by being the best player. So I mean, and that's usually what it is. But in his case, Greg Popovich is the leader. You know what I mean? In the Spurs case, Greg Popovich is the leader. And yeah, I mean, and I do get them, you know, not, you know, feeling a certain type of way about him, but at the same time, they don't know what he feels. They don't know. He tried. It's not like he didn't try to play. He played 9 games and still something was wrong. So, and you know how it is. They always, you know, coaches or whatever, they always want you to come back. So they're not. So they always pressure you to come back. That's kind of the old school mentality. And Popovich is still has got a lot of old school. He's got a lot of new school in him. So the old school side of him is trying to push him back to play, which is understandable. But at the same time, it's like if you don't feel right, and he got a contract situation coming up, I can't totally blame him if he doesn't feel right. Because the truth is, we don't know how he feels.
Well, like that's why I think it's bullshit, because he didn't feel this way before his uncle / manager got into it, saying, "Oh, they're not doing this for me. He needs a new contract. He wants to be traded." It's all, you have to take all of that bullshit into account. You can't just ignore it and just think about what he's telling you. You have to. Think
I never heard him say he wants to be traded.
Well, what you call, like that's what you're hearing reports of. He wants to be traded. He's on a trading block.
I hear they want to trade him.
He does. You know what you go. I keep hearing things like he wouldn't mind playing for the Lakers. I've heard that between the last week. You know, you never hear it from, even when LeBron does it. You never hear it straight from the horse's mouth. It always comes from an agent. You know, LeBron, he's the king of doing stuff like that. He's the king. He's a king, but he's the king of doing shit like that. You know, like he would just bring little shit out there. He would try to play around with it. But Kawhi, he wants to get traded. You know, like, and if you can't respect a coach like Greg Popovich, and there's no, I don't see what the problem is. If he doesn't want to play for that team anymore, he doesn't like being in San Antonio, then say it. You know, like, don't come up with 101 different excuses about why you of what's wrong with San Antonio, when really you just don't want to be in San Antonio. It has nothing to do with Greg Popovich, because nobody complains about Greg Popovich. He's the first person besides Dennis fucking Rodman to complain about Greg Popovich. You know, like, and that's the thing. Well, like some people just don't
had a problem with him too. LaMarcus Aldridge had a problem with him too. Oh, by the way, when Dennis Rodman was there, it wasn't Popovich. It was I forgot that guy's name, but it wasn't Popovich.
Popovich was there. Popovich was there.
When Dennis Rodman was there? No, it was the other guy.
In '94, Greg Popovich was there. He was there since. Remember, he was a GM and he took over. Before he was the GM first.
He might have been the GM when Dennis Rodman was there. I don't think he was the coach yet. I can't remember the guy's name. But there was the other guy with all the gray hair.
Larry Brown?
No, it was another guy with all the gray hair. Once, and he was there the whole time when, like, say, David Robinson was there, and during that era, I forgot the guy's name. But and they were winning teams, and then Popovich took over eventually. But yeah, I don't remember his name. But either way, like Kawhi, I don't care what nobody say. Everybody should be trying to get him right now. This is his first incident. This is his first thing that happened with him. It's not like he has a long history of stuff like this. He has a problem with this situation. And I'm willing to risk that he's not going to have another problem for the rest of his career once he gets out of this situation and he's healthy.
No, I don't trust him at all. Especially in this situation. If you you have to look at what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Like in totality. You have a problem with one of the best coaches in history of the fucking game who never had a problem with people, except for to push them to be better. You won a championship with them. You got the keys to the organization. You will get a max contract. They're going to put pieces around you, and you still have a problem with this organization. What makes you think that my organization would be any better than that? My organization will not be as good as this organization is right now.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have major issues if he say he comes to New York. Do you think he's going to have the same issues that he had in San? It's going to be 100 times worse with 100 times more pressure from the media and 100 times more pressure from. Well, it's going to be coach after coach. You're gonna know what this. You're gonna know what it feels like to not have what you have right now.
And I'm willing to take that chance because he's a great player, and we don't have enough great players. give me a great player any day, and I'll take that chance.
And that's the thing. Let me tell you something else. He's not going to be a great player for us because that always happens. He's not going to. He's a great player.
Well, you're going by history. History sometimes does change. Things change.
He's a great player for San Antonio, but. Who says he's going to be a great player for us?
I say he is. I believe he is.
I don't believe anything that's coming out of that guy's mouth because I don't trust him anymore. I would much rather. We've already dealt with head cases. I would much rather just do it this way where we build slow. I'm fine with Porzingis. I'm fine with losing for another year. I'm fine with having our draft picks. I'm fine with not having somebody who's a head case, who's our leader of our team, who's not really a leader. We've had that. We've had that. We've done that. We've gone through this. I'm not going through that anymore.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just keep losing then.
well, what you call we did this before. We kept losing anyway.
I mean, but what I'm saying is, why not bring in more talent, as opposed to not having talent and losing?
Well, what you call? We've had talent like this. We've had talent, and we not went with that talent. You know what I'm saying? We brought in guys. We brought in guys who've had problems with their coaches. This story goes over and over and over again with the Knicks.
Yeah, but I don't think Kawhi falls under the same category as those guys. I don't like.
But he's already showing signs of that. He's already doing it now.
He's having one incident with one organization that pushed him too hard to come back, and then he's still hurt. So I don't blame him for that.
He's having an incident with a great coach in a great organization who
wins championships. Every relationship ain't perfect.
So he comes to New York and he thinks he's going to get better here.
I'm willing to take that chance. I'm willing to take that chance.
No, I'm saying, does he think he's going to be better here? Is he going to be happy here? No, he's not going to be happy here.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
Even people who have been here, who have been happy, can't produce. So I would much rather just build guys up from the draft, do it the slow way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not making any more splashes in free agency. You know what I'm saying? Especially not with guys like him. I would take Kevin Durant. I'm not taking him. I'm staying the fuck away from him. Right. You know what I'm saying? Let him stay. Let him go right where he's going. If Kevin Durant decides he wants to play for the Knicks, I'd take him with open fucking arms. I have no issue with Kevin Durant. I have no issue, especially if that need and that small forward. I would take him 100 times over this other guy. Giannis, I would take him in a heartbeat, and I know you would too.
Yeah.
Over Kawhi Leonard.
No, not over Kawhi Leonard.
I would take him.
I would take him over Kawhi Leonard.
Heartbeat. There's no other, like, he is like my number one. I would love to take.
I like him. I don't like him more than Kawhi Leonard. I think it's only a few players that I do like over Kawhi Leonard that I would take, like, out of the young talent in the league. Like, I think Kawhi Leonard's better than Giannis. I think Giannis. I don't know. I mean, for one, Kawhi's a better scorer. Kawhi's a better scorer. So that to me, that's number one. Yeah, he's a better scorer. He's a better scorer.
I don't know about that. I think Giannis is a better scorer. No, I don't know. No. I think Giannis averaged 30 points a game this year.
He averaged no 30 points a game.
Decent team.
He averaged 30 points a game.
Like, for a pretty decent team, like something like.
You might want to turn your light on, by the way. It's getting pretty dark.
Yeah, I noticed that. I wish I had a clapper in here.
Well, disappear and come back for half a second. But yeah, I'm not. I like Giannis a lot. I don't like him better than Kawhi. I mean, who else would I take? I'll take Kawhi. I'll take Harden. There's a lot of players I would take.
Well, but all right, so let's do some impromptu small forwards. Who would you take for the Knicks right now? As far as the young guys in the league, my number one for right now, well, anybody, no, not just small forwards, anybody. My number one right now, I would take Ben Simmons over pretty much anybody forward? Because no, I'm talking about anybody. I said out of anybody. Okay. I just preferenced it like a second ago.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. If I had to take anybody right now, I think Ben Simmons would be like number one on my list. Definitely the top.
I think that with Ben Simmons and the right coaching with Porzingis, I think we'd be unbeatable. To be honest with you,
well, they'd be really good. Unbeatable is a stretch.
Unbeatable, 82-0. Anyway, with young guys, there's not really that many young guys out there right now that I would want. Not many.
Well, I would take Ben. I would take Kawhi. I would take Giannis. I would definitely. Who else? I'll take Devin Booker.
I forgot about Devin Booker.
Yeah, he's over there just wasted away in Phoenix. They need to get a team around him. Yeah. I don't know. It's a lot of players, but
I'll take Harden.
Definitely.
He's not young anymore, though. Well, I'm not saying he's not young. He's 26.
He's not old.
He's not old.
He's in his 20s. Yeah, I can't even think of anybody else off the top of my head. But well, back to the playoff matchups anyway. The one that you called that I didn't see coming was you said New Orleans would beat Portland. Yeah. They're about to sweep them, and that was really surprising. Like, I definitely didn't see that. Like, and Damian Lillard is getting outplayed by Drew Holiday. I'm like, okay, that's another problem.
And Rajon Rondo. Rondo, Rondo's actually looking really good in this series.
Yeah. Rondo played well in the playoffs last year, and then he got hurt, and then Boston looked like Chicago was gonna be Boston, and then he got hurt, and then that changed the whole series. Rondo definitely shows up in the playoffs. So. But I heard somebody talking about Rondo saying that, he could be like this in the league. Like, Rondo's been in the league for a while. He's been in the league for 12 seasons already. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has his ring. He has a lot of issues I hear with his attitude. You know, a lot of guys don't like him. Right. You know, because he dominates the ball. I remember when they kept saying that he should come to New York. I said, that's the last thing I need is a ball dominant point guard who can't shoot. There was a time where I wouldn't mind having him, but not.
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah, I wouldn't have minded, but I remember when he started getting hurt, and it didn't seem like he was going to be better. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Everything else he does is really well. You know, he plays the ball like he he plays like a classic point guard.
Yeah.
He can't really shoot. He can score when
He
he
still
wants
gets
to.
to the
He doesn't.
basket. He still can score, but he's not
Yeah,
a
he
good
can
free throw shooter
rebound.
for a guard.
He can rebound really well for
Yeah,
someone
he's a
that's
good all
small.
around player, but he can't shoot and he can't shoot free
He
throws. Like,
cannot score. He just can't score.
yeah. And Houston and Minnesota. Houston's up 2-0. Minnesota played them tough in the first game, and then James Harden got really hot. And then the second game they pulled away earlier. But I think Minnesota goes at least win one at home, but they're just not ready for this spotlight yet. They're just not ready. And I'm not sure if Tibbs is the right coach for that job anymore. Like the reason why you brought him there was for the defense, and they're not a very good defensive team. They're not. They're along. I think they're in the lower third in the league. But I'm like, that's his thing. If he's not getting them to score, then
He needs to go.
What are we? What is he doing?
Now, I remember when I really wanted Tibbs to coach the Knicks. I really,
Me
really
too. I
wanted
did too.
him. I remember that point, but now he doesn't even come up in thoughts about coaching the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Because he really wanted to come back. Cause he was on our bench for a while with Van Gundy. Now it's just like he's supposed to have structure. He's supposed to have some kind of discipline. That team has no structure and no discipline. I'm not saying it doesn't have discipline. That's a little bit too far. When it comes to like identity, they don't know what they want to be.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
That's what
like,
they don't have. Right. They don't have an identity. Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you got a team of guys who can score, and you got them playing bad defense and not scoring.
They're capable of being a dominant offensive and defensive team. That's what they're capable of. That's what they but they're just not doing. I mean, they're in the playoffs, and as you know, I guess they got to take some steps. You know what I mean? They can't just be great right away, because these other teams have, I mean, but at the same time, there's teams like Utah that's always around. Like there's teams that's been around, so they still gotta. I guess they gotta take their steps, and they did get some veterans this year. And so, like, maybe next year they'll hit the stride that they need to hit, but I'm not sure if it's gonna happen with him, with Thibodeau. So I don't know. But who else haven't we? We might as well talk about Utah, Oklahoma. They're tied up at 1. And Westbrook and Donovan Mitchell looks like the best player on the court. Like the rookie looks more poised and more confident than Paul George. Well, Paul George looked solid in the first game. Second game wasn't as solid. But in the fourth quarter, they were, all three of them, Melo, Westbrook, and Paul George were all terrible in the fourth quarter. And Donovan Mitchell looked like the veteran.
Yeah, a total of 2 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's
all three of them.
That's ridiculous. They were 1 of 14 or something like that. That's bad coming from 3 veteran playoff season players against a 1 to 2 man team in Utah, because Gobert is good, but it's Donovan Mitchell's team.
Already it's Donovan Mitchell's team,
and he looks good. He's man. Did the Knicks have a chance to draft him? Because now I'm looking like man.
but that's the thing. We had a chance to draft him, but nobody really thought about him.
Nobody.
We drafted Croissants.
Didn't Utah have like the 4th pick or something though?
No, they didn't draft him 4th. They didn't draft.
I know the Knicks were like drafted like 6th. I know that.
Yeah.
Or was it even 6th? I don't even remember anymore.
We drafted 7th. I'm looking it up now. You can talk while I'm looking it up.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
Everything's falling down. Everything's falling apart.
Well, it's gonna be clunky like this for a little while, but once we get it together, everybody gonna be like, "Yo, when y'all come on again?" But
okay. Well, Frank Ntilikina, who everyone, all Knicks fans seem to hate him. They hate him. They don't want. That's what's wrong with New York. But he was drafted number 8, and Donovan Mitchell was drafted number 13.
Oh my God! I hate missing. I shouldn't even ask for that information because now I'm mad.
But
nobody thought he would be that good.
To be honest with you, we need a point guard.
Right.
So if we drafted him,
I'd been real bad if Dennis Smith Jr. was like lighting up the league. He's not. He's good, but he's not lighting up the league. So I'm not regretting that yet. But if he starts like lighting it up the next couple of years, then I'll be pissed. But right now, I'm just like, I'm okay with having Frank.
If he does like a Steph Curry, then yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody else we didn't talk about in the playoffs? Well, I'm sure somebody else we're missing here. Toronto's gonna the Clippers. Toronto's gonna finish wiping the floor with Washington. So we don't even gotta harp on that. Boston.
I was wrong with that.
Boston. Now, but that one is hard to predict though because they don't have their best players. They should Milwaukee should be taking advantage of that. There's no reason why they should be getting dominated by Boston. It's one thing to be losing, but Boston looks pretty good. Like the first game was close, but then Boston just dominated the next game. So we'll see what happens when Milwaukee gets back home because they're another inexperienced team. So you got to remember that too. Like a lot of these teams we want to be good are just don't have that much experience. So now Philly on the other hand, even though they don't have experience, they're playing against another team that doesn't have a lot of talent either. So Miami did what they were supposed to do though. They split, but then Philly took one back in Miami. Who's
their best player? Who's Miami's best
player? Probably Whiteside, but Dragic is having a good season. Dragic looks really good, and he's always been a solid player. But Whiteside, I would say, is still their best player. Or you can say Wade now because Wade's been playing great in the playoffs. He's not the best player during the regular season. He comes off the bench still, but I would still have to say he's probably their best player because he's been doing what Wade does, and he's been playing well in the playoffs. And Miami still got a shot. They're only down 2-1. They still got another game in Miami. They could even it up. But that's probably the best looking series, and I think the Utah series is probably going to go the distance also. But this Philly Miami series is actually a very exciting series to watch. I've watched all the games so far, and they look good. Embiid is back, but I think but back to what we talked about earlier, I was debating on how at the time who was better. And there's no doubt Ben Simmons is the best player on that team, and I think they play and so far. They're playing better without Embiid on the floor because I think their tempo is better. And Embiid is great, but his first game back, he was okay. But I think they look better without him for some reason. I guess because they got more wing players out there and they just move up and down the floor better. But we'll see how that looks in the future. Have you watched any of the playoff games?
How dare you? This is what the hell are you talking about?
Well, I want to know what the hell you talking about.
How dare you? Let's move on.
Yeah,
I'm not going to answer that question. I'm going to tell you to find the word.
Yeah. So we all know the answer to that. All right. Well, so we'll move on to the draft format. We were talking about this earlier in the week. Adam Silver was on a radio show talking about. They asked them if they're going to change they already changed the draft format a little bit by making it instead of a 25% chance for the team with the worst record to get the number one pick. Now it's 14%. But I'm like, all right. I don't know how much that's going to change because there's a lot of times where the worst team doesn't get that pick anyway. So, but they were throwing around ideas, and this one I like personally was the team that just misses the playoffs. Like for instance, Denver and Minnesota, and this would have been worked out even crazier because they played each other at the last game of the season this year to get in the playoffs to get that 8th spot, Denver and Minnesota. So they're saying what if the team that just misses the playoffs in each conference, I guess they would have to go by record at some point, but the team that just misses the playoffs gets the number one pick, and then that gives you an incentive to play well at least and to not just totally tank your season. So I like that idea. So Denver just missed the playoffs. They don't have a star player, even though they almost made the playoffs. Then they would have the number one pick in the draft coming up, and then this would probably help them get over the top. So what do you think about that?
Well, we spoke about it earlier,
right?
And it's actually a pretty decent idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think that you fall into a few loopholes when you do that because one team, say the number one seed is Golden State, and you have the same situation where you're fighting for the eighth seed or the ninth seed, and you're in Minnesota or Denver, and if you're Denver, you're like, okay, we need that ninth seed, but Minnesota's like, you know what? Why we gotta play? Why we have to play Golden State? Why don't we get the number one pick? We already know who our number one pick is going to be. Maybe some point guard who's like the next Magic, who's like in if you put him together with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, you have a dynasty. Or you can lose in the first round to Golden State and have the next Magic Johnson go to Denver. You know, that's a really easy decision for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care what if I'm a coach. I don't care what the players think. I'm putting these motherfuckers on the bench and I'm doing it blatantly. You know what I'm saying? Like I would so do that if I'm the coach and if the situation that just came up that I explained, um, I would go to the GM like, listen, I'll go to GM, the president, and the owner of a team. I would say, okay, I hope we're on the same page here. You see this guy out here playing for West Bubblefuck State, who's averaging a triple double right now in college, and they compare him to Urban Magic Johnson. Maybe we don't win this game. Maybe
That
I
to
don't
me,
know.
that would be the dumbest thing ever, to refuse to go to the playoffs to try to get a kid mind you, they're only 19 now, so we don't know how good they are going to be in the league. It's even harder to determine a star
That's
player in the league
easier.
now.
It, no,
So
it's no, it's no, it's not. I remember you told me years ago. I'm gonna use your words. I'm gonna use your words. Your words. Lamar's.
okay, I'm listening because I don't remember
Your
this.
words. Your words. Now,
What are my words?
what are my words? Yeah, you said it's kind of it's kind of easier for GMs to be able to scout these guys coming out of college. Now they seem like they just know. I remember when LeBron was the number one pick, and we openly, well, back in that day we were a lot younger than we are now, but we openly said, how do they know he's going to be this great? How they're already comparing to Michael Jordan? How do they know? How do they know? And I remember you said, well, they just kind of figured it out. They just know who's going to be number one. Like they've gotten better. The scouting has gotten better in the past 15 years.
That
To
particular
where,
part sounds familiar. Okay, well, go ahead.
yeah, yeah, the scouting has gotten better in basketball, not any other sport, but I think the and you think the scouting has gotten better in basketball within the last 15 years, where they can tell what what type of player this guy is going to be. They can't predict the future, but they can pretty much tell what type of player this kid's going to be before he even comes out.
I vaguely remember saying something about that, but that being said, it's the I kind of disagree with that now. I think it's harder because maybe when I said that, how long? First of all, I don't remember how long ago this was, but was there a lot of one and
Uh,
done going on when I said it? Because
back in those days, remember it was LeBron. It was LeBron's.
so it wasn't, but it wasn't as it wasn't like it is
wasn't.
now. So
There wasn't any law. There was no law. Everyone was coming out of high school back then.
right, but but at the same time, but at the same time, it was still a lot of players doing at least 2-3 years, maybe not 4, but there was still a lot of players doing 2 to 3 years. Like now, all the best players come out after 1 year. So I think my mindset was a little different at the time. But that being said, if you're gonna miss the playoffs to try to get a rookie, I think that's a terrible precedent to set for your team. I think it's a bad
Not
idea.
just a rookie, a number one pick
I
that
don't
you
care.
know is that you know is going to be like, say if the next fucking LeBron was coming out. If the next LeBron's coming out, I don't give a fuck about.
I'm not. No.
To be honest with you, like if the next if I could if I playing 4 games in the playoffs is not going to help me in the long run. If I know that if I lose this one game, I'm going to get number one pick, and I can get the next fucking LeBron.
I can see special situations, like I can see Denver situation, but not Minnesota's. You know what I mean? Denver doesn't have a star player, so I could see that in certain cases. Yes, I'm not gonna say poo-poo it all together. And Denver, like we're just gonna use them as the example.
Minnesota would do the same thing.
I don't think so. Not with all the time they put in to get all these veteran players, and they got a coach that's the experienced coach. Minnesota would not do it. Denver, I can see Denver doing it. Minnesota would not. Absolutely not.
If it was a LeBron coming out, Minnesota would do it.
Minnesota's in a situation where experience is what they need.
All 30 teams in this league, would do it.
Minnesota, I totally disagree.
If it was a situation where where the prospect is LeBron James, where they just know that this guy is going to be a league-changing player,
maybe, and I don't think every team is doing it. I don't think every team is doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Like on a regular draft year, like a year like this year, a regular draft year, there's nobody coming out of this draft. This draft is not that. It's not that strong. It's not that weak. It's a regular draft year. You know what I'm saying? Last year's draft was kind of weak. You know what I'm saying? Last year's 2017's draft was weak. This year's draft is okay. You know what I'm saying? It's not a strong draft. It's not like 2003. You know what I'm saying? So if you have a strong draft year, then yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then you definitely do that. Even on a weak draft year, you always get one player, but you know what I'm saying? You can't risk it for one player on a weak draft year. When you got a draft year like 2003, then yeah, like you do what you got to do. Or a 1996 draft, where it's like an Allen Iverson or Kobe or Ray Allen, or 1992 draft with Shaq. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Like you kind of do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't actually, I do condone it. Like I wouldn't I'll have no shame in my game. I'm like, listen, this guy's gonna lead my team. All these players that you see in this roster now don't matter if I got this guy playing on my team and he's a rookie. We can win a championship. We can win a championship next year. Not losing the first round now. We can lose right now. This is the same thing as tanking.
It's highly unlikely that you will go from barely making the playoffs to winning a championship. NBA.
Well, what you call it? Like in this situation, that's kind of what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go from a number one pick who's LeBron, then you and you have a team that's already got talent. Say Minnesota.
Well, even LeBron didn't make the playoffs his first year, so it's not like he's gonna come in and be that for sure. He still has to grow a little bit.
I'm talking about for this type of squad. With like, say if LeBron talent went to Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? With all that talent there, and plus you're not paying him either. You're paying him the rookie contract.
So you think they can go from barely making the playoffs to going to the championship? And then let's stick with Minnesota in the West, where you still got Golden State and Houston. Like no, they're not. With no playoff experience. With a bunch of teams.
With a bunch of young guys and a LeBron. I don't care if LeBron's 18. If you got a bunch of young guys,
that does not happen in the NBA. That does not happen.
Well, I just told you this situation. If you got a bunch of talent, LeBron didn't have talent with him in Cleveland.
Okay, but this talent I think you're forgetting the fact that this talent barely made the playoffs. This talent is at the bottom of the playoff bracket. So there's a reason for that.
So the next year, you add a LeBron to that team. Dude, what do you think they're going to do? Barely make the playoffs?
Yeah, they just might. In the West, they might. Yes, they might just barely make it still.
In the West,
because again, we're talking about we're talking about an inexperienced team. This is a team that has no playoff experience.
An inexperienced team with a LeBron with all that
Another
talent on this
inexperienced
team,
player. All
and,
right.
and guess what? They will win. Guess what? They will be a top 3 seed, and I
Not
guarantee it.
not
But
not in the, not necessarily in this, not in the NBA. This you maybe in the NFL you can turn the team around like that in one season. NBA, that's not happening.
if that would happen if you have a LeBron talent on a team that has talent. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but talent is everything. Experience means a lot in the NBA.
Well, what you go like in this situation? If you put a LeBron on that team, you are going to the playoffs. That's it.
Okay, I didn't say not going to go to the playoffs. I'm saying you're putting them as a championship contender already.
I think they will. As a matter of fact, there's no doubt in my mind that they will be a contender with a young LeBron on their team within a year. I think I think that next season, they're a top 3 seed, and the season after that, they're number 1.
Well, let me ask you a question. How many young teams can you name that have gotten this far this fast? Maybe 2.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you're not listening. I'm saying that you have a team. We're doing this scenario. A team that just barely missed the playoffs. They're the 9th seed. Minnesota. They have Andrew Wiggins. They have Karl Anthony Towns. They have Jimmy Butler. Okay, I'm saying LeBron is the number 1. Is projected number 1 pick overall that season. Okay, I'm telling my team Minnesota. Okay, I don't want you to win this game. I'm sitting everybody. They're going to win this fucking game. Denver wins this game, gets fucking the shit kicked out of them in the first round, gets swept by Golden State.
In this case, it would be Houston.
It'll be they get the shit kicked out of them by Houston first round. We get number 1 overall pick in the draft. I'm Minnesota. I got Andrew Wiggins, the number 1 pick. I got Jimmy Butler, who's still good, even though he's getting older for some fucking reason. I thought
he looks like it anyway.
I know. I didn't know he was getting that old all of a sudden. But you got Jimmy Butler, you got somebody at small. Who they got small at a power forward?
Jing. Oh yeah, Taj Gibson maybe. Yeah, either Gibson or that dude Jing. I forget it. I don't know how you say his name.
Yeah, Gorgie Jing or whatever. And you got Anthony Towns, and you got who's the shooting guard would probably be Wiggins at this point. And you got a LeBron James. Okay, I'm putting LeBron at point guard at that point in his life. He's not the LeBron James you have right now. He's not the big 260-pound muscular LeBron James that's in the league right now. He's LeBron James from 2003, who's 6'8", 230,
and couldn't shoot,
and who's quick, who can get around anybody. I can guarantee you, with that team, I don't care who's coaching it. I would number 1. I'm firing Coach Tibbs. That's number 1. I don't want him anywhere near. I want him holding back LeBron. I would get a good coach, put LeBron at point guard, and I guarantee you there'll be a top 3 seed. I won't give him number 1 because LeBron is a rookie and 18 years old. That's the only reason I wouldn't give them number 1 seed. But
that's insane.
But number 1 seed in the West. But insane. After that, I think that after his second year, he's getting MVP. His 3rd year, he's getting MVP. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling LeBron, okay, I don't need you to bulk up. I want you to be able to shoot because this is a shooting league now. I want you to be able to shoot. I want you to be able to play point the entire time.
Well, I think you still want LeBron to be what he became because just be at the point guard. Like Ben Simmons, you want him to be able to shoot, but you want him to be able to be that guy that get everybody involved still. You know what I mean? Especially if you got shooters like Minnesota would. Like you want them to just bulk. I mean, you want him to just do whatever path he took. That's fine. Like I think you still want him to do what he did because, in the end, he still would be a dominant force. Like you still want him to be that dominant force, and he can still get everybody involved. So you would still want him to do what he did, but
I think he was a much better shooter his first um, up from 2003 up until 2009, he was a much better. She was a much better shooter.
Well, he's never been a better shooter than he is
right.
right now. Actually, especially percentage wise and 3-point percentage wise, he's not. He's never been better.
He's taking less 3-pointers. He does it.
No, I think he takes more. He takes more 3-pointers.
He does it, but he's always been kind of iffy when it comes to the shooting, and I think it's because
Not anymore.
That's directly into his muscle mass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I think that he was a much. I'm not saying much better shooter, but I think he was a better shooter. Like when he first got into the league, you know what I'm saying? Like he was.
Well, he was a terrible shooter when he got in the league. When he first, maybe by year 3, year 4, he had a nice little stretch where he saw improvement. But when he first, like those first couple of years, that was the one thing that he wasn't good at.
He wasn't terrible at shooting. He was really good at shooting. As a matter of fact, when he got to Miami that first time, he wasn't that good as a shooter. But you know what I'm saying?
Well, he's been up and down as a shooter.
But that wasn't his. That wasn't what they used him for when he got to Miami. You know what I'm saying? They would do, like they were doing more of that, drive the ball down the field, and just score. You know what I'm saying? They were doing a lot of that. Would make basketball, made it exciting, and it showcased LeBron. But I think that kind of held him back a little bit as far as like showing his complete game, because he's more than just getting to the basket. You know what I'm saying? Like he's perfect at it. He's perfect as anybody I've ever seen. Yeah. When it comes to getting to the basket, but
he's unstoppable.
He's unstoppable. He's about as perfect as ever. Nobody can stop him. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like Kobe, when he's a really great jump shooter. He can get to the basket when he was younger, but when he got older, he just relied on that post up like his boyfriend Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan got to the basket whenever he wanted because he was quick and he was strong, and Michael Jordan did everything, but I don't think Michael Jordan got to the basket like LeBron. He can't do it. He just couldn't.
Nobody can. Like
you know what I'm saying? Like he just couldn't do it. Michael Jordan could do a lot of things really well, really really well, but when it comes to getting the basket, nobody does it like LeBron. And I think that him as a shooter would be. Him as a shooting point guard, it would turn the league on his like he already turned the league on his head. Like being in Minnesota, he'd have 6 championships by now. Like he has 6 or 7 with all that talent on that team. That would be just ridiculous.
Well, they kind of just got all that talent within the past couple of years.
But if you put him on that team, woo, oh man, like I would love to see a young talent like that on a team with a bunch of talent. You know what I'm saying? Like that would just, you know what I'm saying? I think that LeBron would take a pay cut just to stay with those guys.
Well, yeah, he's taken them before. That was something else I was gonna bring up about that. Either way, I guess we'll just move on. One other topic I want to talk about. One of the top high school prospects, Darius Bazley, is skipping college. He's gonna go straight to the G League, and so he's like, all right, forget about going to college and not getting paid. I'm just gonna go to the G League, get paid, even though I think, and they just upped their salaries. I think $35,000 a year. I was like, man, I make more than those guys. But I still like the idea of it. What do you think about like him going straight to G League? Do you think it's going to be like a trend?
We talked about this earlier on the day, and I just remembered what we were talking about. Now, what if there was a clause in the NBA, rule book, whereas any player can go right to G League, but you can and you can be, picked up as a free agent within 10 days of you going to the G League. Think about those first couple weeks of a G League season and how much TV time those guys will be getting. Right. Think about if it's a free agent, if not even a draft. I'm talking about free agency, not even a draft. That would be the most exciting thing I've ever fucking seen. And you know that'd be the most exciting thing you've ever seen.
And I can see 10, 15 years from now, I can see them possibly doing that. Just eliminate college from the like. Some people are still going to go to college and play, but most of the best young players going straight to the G League. And then, like you said, just if they just had a free agency where there was no draft, you could just like people would be watching the hell out of the G League just to see who could go to the NBA. But as of right now, they still got the rule of having 1 year before you can go into the league. Though you got to be 19.
But, see, I think if they eliminate that rule and just made those guys complete free, I'm talking about free agents as to where you can sign a max fucking deal. Do you know how? Do you know like
that would be crazy.
That would be one of the craziest things I've ever seen. That would be like much watch TV. Like I would watch the G League just to see that.
It wouldn't be unprecedented because I know it would be unprecedented, but I was gonna say because football you used to be able to sign rookies to whatever deal you want to sign, but they would still have to be drafted though, so it's still different. So, but yeah, that would be something else. That would definitely make things a lot more interesting. I'd be like, please, Knicks, get this guy. Like just think about like there's no draft. You just straight up.
Yeah, like, you straight up like, all right, here's a contract. He signs whoever the fuck he wants to sign with.
Like $100 million contract right off the bat.
straight off the bat, $100 million, 18-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying? Just playing the G League for like 10 games. But you have to wait 10 games.
And college would have to start paying players then, just to get somebody there.
That would eliminate college. You know what I'm saying? Like the only players who would want to go to college would be players who want a fucking degree.
I was about to say players that actually want to go there and learn stuff. Like if you ain't like, well, I'm gonna get my degree. I'll play basketball while I'm there.
The one
and every now and then
gone.
And every now and then you will find a gym in college.
So then the NBA draft would be kind of irrelevant.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That the NBA draft would be like, all right, who's number one pick? It wouldn't matter. It'll be role players.
Right. It'll be total role players. It'll be maybe somebody like a what's the guy that the point guard that they was comparing to Steph Curry in college. That guy, Trae Young. He would probably have went to college because he wasn't projected to be that good, but then he just blew up. So it'll be people like him who would probably still go to college, and then all of a sudden they'd be like, oh, but he would be the number one pick in this case. You know what I mean? Because all the good players wouldn't even be there, so he would be a number one pick.
So how about for a player who went to college, could he still go to the G League?
Well, I guess they could. I mean, so if they go,
would it be fair for them?
If they're like 15 games in, then they realize that they don't belong there. They drop out of college and get signed to G League. So that could work. Or you're probably better off just staying there. And who knows? Because the draft would be officially eliminated. Like if they still have a draft, then it's like, all right, well, you're probably going to go, in that situation, you're probably going to go to one of the worst teams, and you're already probably a marginal player, but not great. You know what I mean? So it would be in your best interest to go to the G League and just get signed with a team that's probably good, as opposed to getting drafted by one of the worst teams. Because then you're gonna be a marginal player on a bad team, as opposed to a potential star player on a bad team. You know what I mean? A potential star player will rise above that anyway, but a marginal player, it might hurt him by going to a bad team. You know what I mean? It might just derail his career even worse. Who knows? I don't know. It's one of those things. Like I'd be willing to watch it though. I would love to see how that played out. That's for sure.
I would love to see how that played out. But the one drawback, and everything's not perfect. The one drawback is everyone want to go to the same team, but they couldn't go to the same team because it'll be an open market.
It'll be open market, right? So unless they like, the only way that they could do that. I mean, now what they probably would have to make some other type of rules where it's like, all right, because they'll probably do something still where a rookie can still only make this amount. They probably wouldn't make it an open market like that. They'll probably still make it if you're a rookie. I I mean, because the whole thing was hypothetical anyway, but they would probably make it so if you're a rookie and you're still like they're probably gonna still try to have some kind of age restriction on it. If you're a rookie and you're not like unless you're 20 years old, you can't make this money. Like they'll probably still try to do something like that. I could just see them doing that. But if they didn't, that would be very fun to watch.
If I'm Adam Silver, I'm like this has got to be fun. You know what I'm saying? Like I know the money is going to be crazy and the union is going to go crazy off of that, but all the best players are going to want to go to like the hottest teams. They're going to want to go to like LA or I was going to say New York, but
not anymore. Nobody wants to play in New York anymore. Everybody wants to go to the West first of all. Where the weather is nicer.
Be in Houston, or if they have the money, you know what I'm saying? Say there was like 4 players who are looking for max deals. How many teams can afford that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like how many teams can actually say, "Hey, there's like a 20-year-old guy here, and he's looking for $70 million. He's looking for $30 million a season. Can I afford him? If I'm New York,
and it's risky too.
I will. You know what I'm saying? He's 19 years old, and he's really good. Like, could I pay if I'm New York? You can take one of those guys, but every year there's going to be a couple of those guys that's going to get max contracts. You're just like, all right, well, there's going to have to. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't get max contracts to everybody.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like at some point, there's going to have to be like some kind of. There's going to have to be some kind of a draft.
Yeah. Like it would have to be a lot of more structure to it. They would have to definitely. It would be a lot of things they'd have to work out. Let's put it like that. I think we should wrap up. We're definitely well over an hour, so let's wrap this up. People don't want to hear us talking hypotheticals all day. If y'all want to contact us for the podcasters, our email address is lemarandlj@gmail.com. That's LEMARANDLJ@gmail.com. And for the YouTubers, you can just comment at the bottom. But you can email us if you want also. But Mr. No Filter over there. But if y'all know how to contact us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Anything you want to add?
All right. Tune in next week as we dig in real deep to this this controversy surrounding. I don't know.
All right, that was a whole bunch of wasted time. All right. All right, thanks, y'all. Stupid.